Anthony Joshua has suffered devastating back-to-back losses against Alexander Usyk, and it has really hampered the former champion's credibility. Even though practically everyone in the boxing world has taken a verbal shot at Joshua lately, the most recent slam came from Teddy Atlas, a trainer and commentator. Today we'll be taking a look at what Atlas had to say about Joshua and more. So let's dive in. First, what did Teddy Atlas have to say about Anthony Joshua? Teddy Atlas did not pull any punches when talking about Anthony Joshua's performance as of late. The Brit has lost 3 out of his last 5 fights, and this record is horrible for someone who touts himself as one of the best boxers in the world. On his recent podcast, Teddy Atlas said that the fans in the UK love a good loser like Anthony Joshua. His reasoning for calling Joshua a loser was, well, because he hasn't beat anyone special in recent years. Atlas wasn't even referring to his losses against Usyk when calling him a loser. He admitted that Usyk is a very difficult opponent for even the best of boxers. But the fact that Joshua got knocked out by Ruiz back in 2019 was what cemented him as a loser. Ruiz took on the fight on last-minute notice. He had no time to prepare for the fight, yet he still managed to knock Joshua, a far more experienced fighter, out. After that, Joshua's comeback against Ruiz lasted a whole 12 rounds, where he seriously struggled. He had to rely on the judge's decision and was unable to win in dominating fashion. Atlas said that he thinks Joshua is seriously overrated, but he acknowledged the fact that Joshua is able to pull in big money thanks to his mass appeal in the UK. Next, Usyk says Joshua robbed fans. With so many people talking smack about Anthony Joshua as of late, it's only appropriate for his actual opponent, Usyk, to take a few shots as well. After destroying his opponent in the ring, it seems like the Ukrainian beast isn't ready to let go of his rivalry just yet. It was recently announced that Anthony Joshua will be taking on Tyson Fury in his next match. This was a major disappointment to Usyk, who was hoping to face Fury next. Joshua is obviously the much bigger box office draw, and that's probably the reason why Fury chose him over Usyk. But the Ukrainian boxer doesn't really seem to understand that part of the whole thing. He says that Anthony has robbed fans of what would have been a great fight by stealing his opponent. He said that the bigger problem is that Joshua is not letting fans see the best historical bout in boxing history. He said that he's not pissed off at Joshua or anything like that, since he can fight whomever he wants. He's simply disappointed. He added that it wasn't the right move from a sportsmanship perspective. As far as his future plans are considered, Usyk said that he won't be mindlessly chasing after a Fury fight if the other boxer doesn't want it. He hopes to face Deontay Wilder if he wins his fight against Robert Helenius. Coming up, Joshua agrees to full terms of the next fight, with Joshua versus Fury all but confirmed for either late 2022 or early 2023. Many people were concerned if Joshua would genuinely agree to the full terms of the fight. Despite not being as big of a box office draw as Joshua, the reigning champion demanded 60% of the purse from the fight, with the remaining going to Joshua. The terms also include an automatic rematch for Fury if he loses, with a 50-50 purse split even when he's not champion. Overall, it seems like Fury's team is using all of the leverage that they possibly can. They're the ones setting all of the rules, and many people thought there was no way that Joshua's camp would accept them. But lo and behold, a source close to Joshua confirmed to BBC Sport that they have agreed on all of the terms, even though they're not exactly in their favor. It seems like Joshua cares more about regaining some of his prestige than he does about earning more money as of now. The contract for the fight still hasn't been signed due to a delay caused by the death of Queen Elizabeth II. However, they're expected to sign the document in either late September or early October. Up next, Richard Riakporhe says Anthony Joshua will shock the world. With Anthony's abysmal record as of late, when contrasted with Tyson Fury's undefeated streak, it's pretty obvious who the obvious favorite is for their upcoming fight. Pretty much all betting websites, sports analysts, and boxing experts are saying the same thing. Fury is going to sweep the floor with Anthony Joshua. However, Richard Riakporhe thinks otherwise. The undefeated cruiserweight said that the Usyk loss must have been a learning experience for Joshua. It may have helped him learn what some of his shortfalls were and what he can do to address them. Riakporhe added that he believed Joshua would pull out a sneaky victory and shock the world, so to speak. It's no shock that Riakporhe would be supportive of Joshua even after his big loss. After all, the two have been seen sparring with each other on numerous different occasions, and it's widely assumed that they're close friends. The contender also commended Joshua's willingness to accept a fight such a short time after a major defeat. He said that it takes guts to do something like that. Next, Joshua enters the WBC heavyweight rankings. For years, even when Anthony Joshua was an undefeated champion, the boxer failed to ever rank in the WBC heavyweight rankings. He always failed to meet the criteria of the rankings and thus was excluded from the list. But now, when Joshua's career is at an all-time low, the Brit has suddenly appeared on the 6th spot of the list. This is a pretty generous ranking considering the string of losses that the boxer has faced lately. But the reasoning behind it is pretty simple. Joshua is not committed to any other organization at the moment. He's strictly committed to facing the current WBC champion Tyson Fury, and no other champion or any other organization. Now, if you were wondering what was different before that, it was that Joshua held championships from other organizations. He held the WBA, Super, IBF, WBO, and IBO heavyweight titles, and that was enough to get him excluded from the prestigious list. This might just be the first time in Joshua's career that he has been exclusive to just one organization, so it wouldn't be that difficult for him to eventually make it to the top. Coming up, Bob Arum says it's gonna be a massacre. Taking on someone like Tyson Fury was never going to be easy, especially since Joshua hasn't exactly been at the top of his game as of late. Bob Arum, who is the US promoter for Tyson Fury, said that he expects the match to be a massacre in favor of Fury. Of course, this may have just been a case of a promoter trying to hype up his own fighter, but Arum brings up some great points when talking about it. For starters, Arum doesn't even consider Joshua a worthy opponent for Fury. His back-to-back losses against Usyk tarnished Joshua's reputation in Arum's eyes, and he personally believes that a contract won't even be signed. But if it does get signed, Arum believes that Joshua won't even have the confidence to stand up to Fury, one of the toughest opponents anyone can go up against. Overall, the promoter thinks that either Joshua or Fury is going to pull out of the fight. Either Joshua pulls out because he's scared, or Fury pulls out because it isn't worth it. After all, neither man really needs the money. It's only Joshua that needs to get back his prestige. And finally, when is the Joshua-Fury bout going to take place? Since the contract for the fight hasn't been signed yet, there isn't exactly a confirmed date set for the Joshua-Fury match as of right now. Initially, many fans thought that the fight might be held in 2023, but according to limited media reports, it seems like the two boxers are eyeing a date within December of 2022. Exact dates of either December 3rd or December 17th have also been floating around in the media as of late, but of course, neither of those dates are confirmed. In all honesty, the longer Joshua has to wait for the fight, the higher the chances are of him winning. It seems like Tyson Fury's camp purposely rushed the fight to make sure that AJ wouldn't be in the right headspace or in the best physical condition. After all, recovering from a knockout like that would certainly take more than just a few months, right? As far as the venue is concerned, it will be taking place at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, a relatively neutral venue considering Joshua is English and Fury is Irish. Some fans are complaining about the terms of the fight being too harsh on Joshua, but it seems like AJ himself doesn't seem to mind. He just wants a big box office fight. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Anthony Joshua could bounce back from his loss to Usyk? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.